I've been waiting for this, and it's not even really ready. Well, it's ready, but it's hopefully gets a little clearer than that. A Cooper's Canadian Blonde, and I've got lime in there. And I just kegged it, so we'll talk about that at the more towards after I get through my topic of this week, which I really want to hit hard on. But this is it's summer here, man, and it's refreshing. It really is. It's beautiful. Before I put the limes in, it had a huge head on it. They're obviously going to kill the head, but you don't care about that when you're trying to make a nice refreshing beer. Okay, I want to talk about something that I have probably I know I've talked about it before. First of all, these Homebrew Wednesday videos are supposed to be vlogs, okay? They're not necessarily supposed to be brewing videos. I got a couple comments last week about, just, a couple people saying they wish there was more brewing. I do brewing videos. I do cooking videos. I do music videos. I do stuff. That's outside of Homebrew Wednesday. And I do them as often as I can. Homebrew Wednesday for me, and it's always been this way, and if you look at my very first Homebrew Wednesday video, it's just supposed to be an update, what's going on, what I'm brewing, what I'm looking to brew, what I brewed last week, what I'm drinking, and what's going on. We talk about things. I took apart a regulator one week. We've done brewing stuff on here, but it doesn't have to be that. And if you ask S.J. Poor, who invented Homebrew Wednesday, he'll tell you it doesn't even have to be on a Wednesday, and it doesn't have. You don't have to brew. You just it is what it is. And I'm not always going to be brewing on them. I can't brew every Wednesday, and if I am brewing something, I'll film it and we'll put it on here. So it's up to you if you want to watch or not. Anyways, I appreciate it if you do watch and do the thumbs up thing and all that kind of stuff. Now, pretty serious thing I want to cover here. Okay, because last week, unfortunately, I had to delete a couple of people, or ban or block or whatever the term is, from my YouTube channel, and or maybe it was the same person with two different names. I don't know. Just making idiot comments, just brain dead comments about the tin can brewing and all this kind of stuff, and other derogatory remarks, which I totally. Sorry, I'm not in grade 5. Okay, so you're not going to insult me by saying stupid things to me on my comments. But anyway, so I banned him. Anyway, so this week I wanted to cover this, and as I said, I've talked about it before, but let's take it from a slightly different approach, and maybe this will drive it home for those less fortunate people who seem to think that they know more than we do. Here's a small clip from John Palmer, and we all know who John Palmer is. By the way, I'm in contact with him again, so okay, just a little hint there. And here's what he says.
I typically brew all grain myself. I do still do quite a few extract batches. Brewers shouldn't have any prejudices about the method they're using for brewing. You can do extract only because we've got great extract these days. 20 years ago when I started brewing, all the extract we were getting was old, and there was a real aversion to liquid malt extract because of it. Usually it had sat around for a couple of years. We promoted using dry malt extract as having longer shelf life and being more stable and getting a little better beer out of it. There was a real push then to get into all grain brewing because then you got better freshness and better flavors out of the beer. But these days, extract is really fresh, and brewing with extract can make great beers. I have no doubts about that.
So what John is talking about, just to give him, credit, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but just to with respect to him, so that I don't change things, he's talking about, when he talks about extract brewing, he's talking about doing a full, 6.5 gallon boil with liquid malt extract and possibly adding some specialty grains and of course hops, right? And getting that down to the hour-long boil, and then putting the fermenter and adding some good yeast to it. That's extract brewing. You omit the need to mash and sparge. So let's look at some things here. Let's take a look at some photos of some stuff. Okay, this is liquid malt extract. Beautiful stuff. It tastes awesome, and if you get it fresh, it's great stuff, and it really makes life a lot easier in some cases. All right, so that's what it looks like. Now, here's the same thing. This is extract, liquid malt extract, in a plastic container. Okay, so there it is, and it's all packaged up, and there you have it. You buy it. It's a pretty good price too, by the looks of that. So there you go. All right, you only need a couple of those, and you're all set. Here's liquid malt extract in a can. It's an aluminum container, so you got a plastic container and an aluminum container. So unless you're fussy about which thing is stored in, really there's no difference between the two. So now here you have, here's another one. Same thing. It's a can, a container of liquid malt extract. Good stuff, right? Just like John said. Now, here is a bunch of plastic containers. Sorry, the photo's not that clear. Of liquid malt extract, same thing. But these ones have hops added to them, so that you don't have to necessarily add hops to the recipe. You can just put this together in a very short period of time, and you're still making good beer. Okay? So the only difference between this and this is that these are packaged and they're pre-hopped. Okay? And here is a picture of a can, an aluminum container of the same thing, pre-hopped extract. Okay, so can we draw the line there? We make it sort of connect the dots, like, you know, between what John said and what we're talking about here with these. Where is I've got one somewhere. So what's in this container here is the same as what is in this picture here. It's the same as what John is talking about in his little speech there. Here's the problem. If I open this can and I follow the directions and I add a kilogram of dextrose and put it in and use the yeast that came in the lid and all that kind of stuff, that's not extract brewing. I mean, it is, but it's not what John means, right? Okay? So the way that I particularly, and maybe you do too, use these canned kits or these containers of liquid malt extract that are pre-hopped is that we use them as a base. Okay? And we add stuff to them. We add hops. We add, you know, maybe some grains in there if we want to. And we might even, you know, get some extra, better yeast from somewhere that will improve it and that. So as long as you're not dumping like just this in and a kilogram of sugar, I mean, you can do that if you want, and I've done that many times in the past. But you're not going to get a product that is worthy of a positive, you know, experience. It's beer, but it's not the best. And a lot of people are fussy, and they expect a lot of flavor and certain aspects out of the beer they drink, and their expectations are high. So for them to take a can of this and a kilogram of that, dump it in like a cake mix, that's probably not going to be the best thing, right? So, as John said, extracts are these days are amazing. They taste great. You can take these extracts, whether they're pre-hopped or not, and make fantastic beer. All right. So have we beat that one to death, do you think, by now? Is this the last time I need to talk about this? Because it's not like I care about those idiots that posted stupid things. It's just that I don't want other viewers to get the wrong impression, because there's lots of information out there that suggests that you can't use the tin cans. Well, you know what's the stupid terminology, a tin can? Who cares if it's a tin can? Who cares if it's a plastic container? Who cares if it's a great big tub of liquid malt extract? It doesn't matter. That's it. No more beating the horse to death. We're done with this topic. I hammered it home. I think I got my point across. Okay? Kit and kilo, right? We don't want that. But when you do things with these kits, it saves you time because you don't have to do a full 1 hour boil, and it saves you the mash process and the sparge process. And not everybody wants to save that time. Some people want to mash and sparge. I love doing it myself when I have time, And so, as he said at the beginning of his little speech there, everyone should stop trying to compete with their methods. We're all making beer. We're all doing it the way that works for us. And if you don't like the way somebody makes beer, unless you're drinking it, you have nothing really to say about it. And I think there's enough information on YouTube that people that are new will learn the way that works for them. It's not all leaning towards extract. It's not all leaning towards all grain. It's not all leaning towards anything. There's enough of it out there that they will say, okay, this one looks good to me. This method looks good. I can do this. But I can't do that one because I don't have the space, time, or equipment. I hope you guys agree. Post what you think down below. Some people don't, they for some reason they just don't like the taste of the extract itself. I mean, they do all grain all the time, and they do an extract batch, and there's something about it they don't like. Maybe there's something missing, with the process of making the extract that gets taken out, as opposed to all grain when you make your own extract, which is basically what you're doing when you mash. You're making your own malt extract. The only difference is that you're not condensing it down into a syrup like these guys do, right? So maybe that itself does something to it. I don't know, but I don't have a problem with it at all. And so neither does Mr. John Palmer. So there you go. Okay. All right. Couple of shout outs here before we go. Get myself a little lubrication here. I do have a couple shout outs. Before we go, I'll just show you brewing a batch of wine over here. You can see also over here I've got the other batch of the the Canadian Blonde because it's summer and it's hot and I want a refreshing drink. Don't want to be drinking stout right now. I'm just going to tilt this down just a bit so you can see the wine's going there. That heat belt is on there, but it's not turned on. It's not plugged in. I just put it on to give it a boost at the beginning of its fermentation. So that's not working, and this thing's going like crazy, as you can hear and as you can see. Want to wish everybody a happy Homebrew Wednesday. I hope your brewing is going well. I hope you're brewing good beer, watching good videos, listening to good music while you brew, and making enjoying what you do, whether it be easy home brewing or easier home brewing. Whichever method works for you. I try to drill this, in so many times, and people trying to get sick of it. And I'm sorry for all you guys who are tired of hearing me talk about this. I apologize, but I thought this was a good way to approach it. Okay, I have a couple shout outs here. First of all, here's a picture of Matt. He sent me this. He bought a shirt recently. He's proudly standing there with his shirt and his grain bag and a pot on the stove. He's getting ready to do a nice brew there. It might be an extract brew. Looks like it might be, with some grains added. Cheers to you, Matt. Thanks for supporting CraigTube. I appreciate it very much, and that shirt looks great on you. Okay? Beautiful stuff. Also, Luke. I'd like to thank Luke. He went to my website, craigfairway.com, and he was listening to some of my music, which you can do there. You can go and listen to it for free. Some of my own songs that I wrote a few years ago. And he enjoyed them so much that he sent me a donation. So thank you, Luke. I really appreciate that. There's another homebrew down in the can right there with that. So I appreciate that a lot. Thank you so much. And I'm kind of okay. So we got that going. We've got this is in the keg. That's going to clear up in a couple of days. The limes are great. I put 2 in because I was just craving this so much. Whoops, I'll move back in frame here. This will get you hammered. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's carbonated, but it's not, you know, it'll improve. Now that one, that's going to have a chance to sit a little longer in the fermenter, and I'm toying with the idea of either dry hopping it or adding lime to it. I'm not sure yet, but most likely this will actually get into a keg soon, and it will be crash cooled and or cool crashed, sorry, cold crashed, and allowed to sit and clear. So maybe by next week or the week after, we'll see just how clear it gets on its own without adding any gelatin or anything like that to it. That's the easiest way to clear a beer, is just time. Time. You know? Now, if you're in a hurry, well, then you can use the gelatin and stuff like that, or the oral flock or whatever, but I have the time, because this isn't going to be being served for a couple of weeks now, or maybe it depends on how fast this one goes. Anyways, thank you so much, guys. If you want to buy a shirt, you can. tgtshirts.com, craigfairway.com for my music if you want to listen to it. It's a little dated, but it's there if you want to. And it's not for everybody. If you're a heavy metal guy, forget it. Don't worry about it. And we want to mention 17brewcrew.com as well, because what a great place that is to go and ask questions and participate and learn anything you want to know about brewing. There's your forum. Cheers, guys. I'm out. I think I'm out of time. Take care. Happy home brewing. 17. How do you do this? There you go. They should make a glass like that. 17 on. Okay. Bye, guys. Be safe.